You ever wish you could just travel back in time? Well, sometimes all it takes is one little document. Today, we've got something special, a community newsletter from decades ago. It's basically a time machine, and it's going to show us what made a community not just get by, but really, truly thrive. So let's jump in. We're heading back to 1986.
All right, so where are we? We're in Singapore. The year is 1986, April to be exact. And we're not going to use history books today. Nope. We're going to see this world through the eyes of the people who were actually there, living it, through the pages they printed and passed around.
And this is our guide, the Munitron newsletter. Seriously, this thing is so much more than just paper and ink. It's a perfect snapshot of this super vibrant youth movement. It captures everything, their dreams, their plans, the very soul of their community. So what story does it actually tell us?
Okay, so the first thing that just jumps right off the page is this incredible dedication to culture. And this wasn't just some side hobby for them. It was the bedrock of who they were. It was how they connected their past to their future.
And you gotta love how they got their young people involved. Look at this. On one hand, you've got the high energy of a youth Tamil drama night. Super exciting, right? But then on the other, you have the quiet focus of a flower arrangement class. It's this amazing blend of performance and traditional skills that kept their heritage not just alive, but actually relevant.
And the sheer scope of what they were doing is just incredible. We're talking drama, music, literature, but then they've also got talks on herbal medicine and even palmistry classes. They really built this rich, complete cultural world for all their members.
And this right here shows you these weren't just random, scattered events. No way. They were building lasting institutions. Check this out. A plan for a dedicated music band that had been in the works for 4 years, since 1982. That is a serious long-term commitment to the arts.
But, culture was only half the story. Having a strong identity was their foundation, for sure, but they were just as focused on building for the future, and they did it through really deliberate education and leadership development.
This article here is just fascinating. It's not just a report, it's practically a blueprint. It lays out the whole strategic, step-by-step process of how they set up a brand new branch in Toa Payoh, and they turned it into one of their model branches. This was growth by design, not just by luck.
And this timeline, it really shows you their method. So in '83, they kick things off with a cultural show. A year later, bam, they add a tuition project. By 1985, they've got the whole shebang: music, storytelling, talks, even a picnic. It's this patient, multi-year strategy for building a community right from the ground up.
And their vision wasn't just stuck in their own neighborhood. The newsletter mentions a talk by a Mr. Sathinathan, who had just gotten back from the Asian Youth Conference in New Delhi. Think about that. They were connecting their members to these bigger global conversations, training them to be leaders not just locally, but on a national and even international stage.
Okay, but it wasn't all serious planning and cultural preservation, right? Because what really ties any community together, it's the shared memories, the fun. And this group, they understood that perfectly.
I love this one. Take this trip organized by the Badak branch. You've got 60 members heading out for a day of fun on Singapore's southern islands. They organized a treasure hunt, group games. It was all about building those friendships and making memories, outside of the formal meetings. And this quote from the article, it just says it all. It totally captures that spirit of joy and friendship that turns a bunch of individuals into a real tight-knit community. So simple, but so powerful.
And this wasn't just a once-in-a-while thing. Their calendar for just April and May is jam-packed with hikes, picnics, meetings. Social bonding wasn't an accident or an afterthought. It was a scheduled, essential part of how they were structured.
All right, for our final piece of the puzzle, we're going to look at something you might normally just skip right over: the advertisements. But trust me, in this newsletter, they tell a fascinating story all on their own. See, these ads are like a secret window into the economic ecosystem that was holding this youth wing up. They show us who believed in what they were doing enough to actually put their money behind it. It gives us this really unique snapshot of the community's business life back then.
And just look at the contrast here. It's awesome. You've got Komala Villas Restaurant, founded way back in 1947, representing that deep heritage. And then right next to it, an ad for Sun & Sand Electronic, selling video recorders and car stereos. You've got tradition and modernity, side by side, supporting the very same cause.
And the support network was just so diverse. We're seeing restaurants, textile shops, shipping companies, even carpentry services. This wasn't just one type of business. It was the whole community chipping in.
So, after this little trip back to 1986, what's the big takeaway? This newsletter, it's so much more than a collection of articles. It's a genuine blueprint for how to build a community that's not only vibrant, but also built to last.
So what was their secret sauce? Well, it really seems to boil down to these 4 key ingredients. First, a strong cultural foundation to anchor their identity. Second, a clear focus on education and raising up future leaders. Third, a really vibrant social calendar to build those personal bonds. And fourth, a supportive network of local businesses and patrons. It was the mix of all 4 that really made it work. You know, this newsletter from 1986 doesn't just show us what one group did back then. It gives us a timeless model. And it kind of leaves us with a question for our own time, doesn't it? In our super digital age, are we still nurturing these same essential ingredients to build communities that can truly last for generations to come?